Item Number SCP-5068 Object Class Safe Security Level 2 Special Containment Procedures SCP-5068 is to be stored inside a standard hermetically sealed containment locker that allows for microscopic enhancement. SCP-5068 must be activated by a D-Class at 10:27 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time daily for at least 5 minutes before being returned to its container. Description: SCP-5068 is a drop of water approximately 0.05 milliliters in volume. Its chemical composition indicates a source of naturally occurring precipitation or rainwater. Under identification, SCP-5068 contains two dominant strains of microfauna, designated A and B, currently engaged in massive intermicrobial warfare. The cause of the wide-scale conflict is currently unknown, though early DNA samples show a 99.9% match between A and B instances. Both A and B instances have evolved biology suited to prolonged periods of warfare. SCP-5068-A, on the extreme middle left, has an elongated torso with multiple appendages for traversal and self-defense. SCP-5068-B, on the extreme bottom right, while 30% smaller, possesses 8 limbs, dual eye sockets, and pincers at the end of its forelimbs to track down and dismember SCP-5068-A with ease. Discovery: Foundation personnel were screening Site-65 for environmental hazards when SCP-5068 was discovered in a random sample of rainwater. Further testing on the site surrounding precipitation, groundwater, and sanitation facilities is ongoing. Abridged Test Logs. Test Log 1, June 6, 2016. D-Class personnel, designated D-4439, examines SCP-5068 through a high-powered microscope. Hundreds of thousands of SCP-5068-A and B instances are observed to be engaged in large-scale battle. Evidence of small arms fire and coordinated tactics are observed. B instances use pencil-like movements to assault A's position, whereas A instances huddle behind natural barriers for protection. B instances also employ rudimentary weapons and vehicles composed of an inert organic matter, whereas A instances hurl globules of the same material as high-velocity projectiles. D-4439 observes the battle for approximately 5 minutes before noticing that both A and B instances have ceased their fighting and are staring up in her direction. Testing is immediately terminated. Test Log 2, June 15th, 2016. Tall structures have been erected from the center of SCP-5068-A and B concentrations, which appear to be their main centers of population. The towers appear organic and constantly moving, and appear to be erected from the same biological material used to construct their weapons and tools. D-4439's presence is noticed much earlier this time. The structures quickly begin moving in the direction of the D-Class's gaze. D-4439 notices both A and B instances climbing up the towers and over themselves before hurling projectiles in her general direction, which accumulate in her viewing lens as flecks of dirt. No injuries reported. Chemical analysis of the dirt samples indicate a genetic match to SCP-5068-A and B instances themselves. Test Log 3, June 17th, 2016. D-4439 ordered to depress her fingertip into the top of SCP-5068. Request to use a sterilized metal rod denied. D-Class eventually complies, activating SCP-5068 for 5 minutes before allowing the water droplet to fall back down to the surface. Upon re-magnification, A and B towers appear to have been demolished, with scores of SCP-5068 instances lying scattered in the mud across the surface. Note: presumably stunned and not destroyed due to the general resiliency of microorganisms. D4439 then ordered to place her finger on top of her tongue. Subsequent refusal is threatened with further disciplinary action. D-Class eventually complies, ingesting a portion of SCP-5068, but no side effects observed immediately. Recommend similar containment procedures to be enacted for D4439. Test Log 4, June 19th, 2016. D4439 reports that A and B instances have ceased hostilities with one another. Instead, both cultures observed to be actively cooperating towards the goal of containment breach. More instances have appeared in opposing cities, rebuilding each other's towers in alarming rates. As such, recommend increasing the frequency of SCP-5068's activation to once every 3 days to prevent A and B instances from reaching the lens barrier of the microscope. Note: D4439 has reported mild symptoms of lightheadedness, nausea, and xerostomia. Daily fluid intake has also increased by 300%. Recommend continued monitoring of her physical condition within containment. Test Log 5, June 30th, 2016. Testing was prematurely terminated when D4439 refused to comply with emergency quarantine procedures. Docile behavior was initially observed amongst A and B instances, with D4439 expressing relief that the microorganisms are no longer attacking her on sight. But working towards the construction of a single massive tower comprised of their combined fallen dead. Foundation staff grew suspicious, however, when D4439 refused to back away from the lens barrier despite repeated orders to activate SCP-5068. Instead, D-Class merely repeated over and over again, "They're already out. They're already inside of me." SCP-5068 was retracted back into containment after 5 minutes as per safety protocol. D4439 immediately displayed signs of aggression, screaming and banging on the glass wall of her observation cell, demanding to be released. Test Log 6, July 3rd, 2016, cancelled. D4439 attempted to breach containment today. Blunt force trauma to her limbs and cranium listed as official cause of death. The glass barrier of her containment cell will also require replacement. A post-mortem indicates extensive presence of SCP-5068 A and B instances in her blood, saliva, and urine samples. Current working theory is that these microorganisms propagate through liquid H2O, saturating the host's body before moving on to its next vessel. Given the extent of symptoms at the time of D4439's demise, the virus would have put her down within the next 24 hours. Or approximately 2 weeks since exposure to SCP-5068, regardless. Future test logs. Green light. Recommend daily depression of D-Class finger into SCP-5068 to continue to prevent a possible microbial MK-class outbreak scenario. To further disrupt SCP-5068 A and B's efforts in breaching containment, this frequency may escalate in the future. To coincide with the mass screenings of Foundation personnel, O5 Command has given its green light to commence mass clinical trials to find a way to neutralize newly discovered SCP-5068 instances. Additional containment cells are being constructed as we speak. Remember to preserve their remains for future study.